the stand. I carry that crest in my hand, rain on my shoulders, still I stand. Tell me who wears it like we can. Mud on the boots, heart of gold. Those stories living in the cold, every name that the walls still hold. I was born for this, I was told. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold, we were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. When the pressure comes down hard, we don't flinch, we play our part. Every scar on the badge says more than 1,000 songs before. From the first whistle to the last, we remember where we came from fast. No throne, no crown, no borrowed fame, just a city calling out that name. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold, we were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. Let the whole ground shake, let the whole world know. We don't chase a moment, we are the whole. Hands up high, voice up loud. Same old pride, same crowd. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. Yeah. Ooh. Blue till the end, blue till the end. Loyalty stays even through the storm. From the bridge to the stand, I carry that crest in my hand, rain on my shoulders, still I stand. Tell me who wears it like we can. Mud on the boots, heart of gold. Those stories living in the cold, every name that the walls still hold. I was born for this, I was told. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold, we were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. When the pressure comes down hard, we don't flinch, we play our part. Every scar on the badge says more than 1,000 songs before. From the first whistle to the last, we remember where we came from fast. No throne, no crown, no borrowed fame, just a city calling out that name. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold, we were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. Let the whole ground shake, let the whole world know. We don't chase a moment, we are the whole. Hands
Yes, good people, big up to all of you. Welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome for another edition of the Chelsea News Roundup Show. Or maybe not, or you could still call this the Blue Morning Show. I do hope you're all doing well, but rightly evening for you guys, so it could still be the News Roundup Show for some of you. But we're here to talk about Chelsea's loss against Sunderland. I wasn't expecting anything. I didn't expect us to win, even though before that game, statistics did show that it's that sort of game that could end in a draw or break either way, which would mean a 2-1 loss, you say 3-2 loss or something like that. I wasn't expecting anything, and I've always preferred us not playing in the Conference League. But yeah, being without a European assignment or competition, if you prefer, and focus in the Premier League to see if we can win it, because we haven't won it in a while. But despite that, I do hope you're doing well. Once again, today, it's not going to be a structured show. We will be here, there, up, down, left, center, answering your questions, having fun. But the moment we start talking about a particular topic, please keep it aligned. Otherwise, I will skip your comment and I assume you're having a good conversation with a community member or with Mod Manor, who's excellent at having good conversation. If you want to have a conversation with someone, just quote Mod Manor, just mention Mod Manor, and he will respond to you. Big up to you, MB05. Thank you for finding the time to join this conversation this particular morning. I do hope you're doing well. I cannot thank you enough. He says, big up to you too. I'm disappointed that we lost to Sunderland away, doing the double against us. Hopefully in the summer, a wake-up call for the owners. I think definitely they've woken up, but a bit too late. They need time, you could say, to I'm not sure how it's to phrase it, you could say they've woken up already. But yeah, that was gonna be, or was always gonna be, a bad game, or maybe it was on papers, because I just don't understand why Reece James was left on the bench. So that made it seem as if we weren't necessarily looking to win that game, because we were trying to avoid playing in the Conference League or something of that sort. But that's just me speculating. It just doesn't make sense anyway. Big up to you. Xavi Alonso should bring back an identity to Chelsea FC. He and the board need to be more ruthless this summer. Plus, be strategic. No Chelsea fan deserves what we have been through in 3 years. They don't deserve. You can say for them, you can say you bear the consequences of your actions, and you can say us not being in the Champions League will hit their pocketbook, irrespective of how anybody sees it. We deserve more. Chelsea fans are up the Blues as always, even though I am disappointed. I mean, you're the 12th man. Your responsibility is to support the club, even if you hate the owners. But there's a way you will show your hate for the owners, it will end up affecting the club. It's really as simple as that. Also, in the summer, we need to clear out the majority of the deadwood players we have right now. Bring in 4 or 5 quality experienced players. Wait and see what the club does. I've read enough of your comment, and I have Rich Moneymakers. Big up to you to Rich Moneymaker. I do hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation once again. I know the morning shows are your stuff. You'll always be here as long as we stream around this period, and it's going to be like that for a while, because the kiddos are on break, and soon we'll be traveling to Canada, so I'll be alone at home. Yes, big up the legends. We are fighting to keep Marco Correa, but he wants to see ambition or he will be off. And our manager wants to keep Pedro. I think Pedro stays, even if our manager doesn't want him. Enzo Fernández likely to leave, in my opinion. Up to the owners to tweak the model. I think they've already accepted that they need to do things a bit differently. And if you paid attention, actually, that has always been the plan. Yeah. I am not good. Okay, you're disappointed you're talking tonight, but let's see. This young project is over. Even our potential sponsors didn't trust it. Finally, the world-class listening. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Big up to everyone. Let's see what we have here. The Arteta project is over. The good news, new manager wants to challenge for the title. We've always wanted to challenge. The question, what the conversation should be, whether we did things or whether we've done things the right way to even challenge. I think that should always be the conversation. Not we want to win. If you're saying we don't want to win, I think that's a lie. The conversation should be: have we been doing the right thing that you said that will help us win? Or doing things the right way to simplify it. And I am crazy Ian. Nice to see you. Big up everyone in the chat. The season is finally over. What a crappy one it was. Heart wrenching. You could say mentally draining. You can call it anything soothing for you. All right, let's see. Big up. Terrible season. It must never repeat itself. I think someday in the future it will happen again. These things that are maybe not as bad, but something will again. Some things in the future will still happen, and that we'll look at and we wouldn't want it to repeat itself again. You can't. Nothing is perfect in the world. About his preference, it's better for Chelsea not to play Europe. If it is not at least the Europa League, it shouldn't be the Conference League. I get it. I get the argument that we could use it as a platform to nurture the younger players, but it will so stress the manager. But without any European assignments, he'd have time enough to drill, implement his approach, and I think probably we're capable of competing for the league. And it depends on what we do come summer transfer window. But let's see what happens here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. We must sign players over 20. Age is an experience. It's not about age. I know we use age and experience interchangeably, leading to us thinking almost always, always thinking that the older the player, the more experience, which is usually the case. Because the older you are, the more time you've had to play at the highest level. It depends, but that edge doesn't necessarily, you could say, mean that one is definitely experienced at doing something more than the younger players. If you're let's say if you're talking about Premier League experience, there are older players there are players who be nearly twice as much. You could say Moses Caicedo's age and half. Let me just phrase it like that. But aren't experienced as Moses Caicedo is. If we're being specific to the Premier League, there are players who are older than him, but not experienced in the Premier League. So we're all guilty of using age and experience interchangeably, and I think that is wrong. You have to pay attention to what the numbers tell you with regards to that person's experience in a particular vocation, field, or whatever you want to call it. But big up to you too. Okay, pleasantries still. Coach and Dante, I've been saying it for 2 seasons now. K-Leg needs to go. Unfortunately, it looks like it is time. And you saying that, you win. Yeah, I agree with you. You win. For 2 seasons now, Chelsea need experienced players. Everybody have been saying that for 1,000 years. Honestly, over the 28 age doesn't necessarily mean experience. Honestly, that guarantee experience. And as I say, I think the entire team needs to. That's a lie. That's a lie in my opinion. No, the entire team doesn't need to overhaul. And I don't think they will do that. We just need signings here and there. Where exactly, I can't pinpoint right now. It depends on what the manager wants. Honestly, no, I disagree. And there's no urgency in the style of play down to who is coaching. And the gap between the midfield and striker is massive, also down to application and approach. There's no killer instincts we are recently buried. We're good, honestly. I'm not saying we're good, but we're not as bad that we need an overhaul. No, that's not what we need. I should have listened to you a long time ago. I was wrong about Chelsea qualifying for Europe instead. Okay, but thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't like reading that about myself. It's time for Lavia to move on. I think Lavia stays. I think so. But that's just an opinion. I don't know what Xavi wants. He hasn't played 90 minutes of football since he signed for Chelsea in the summer 2023. He should go to a lesser physical league like Serie A or maybe the Bundesliga and La Liga. Not necessarily. I can actually be physical. Bundesliga as well too. Yeah, I agree. But I am glad to say that I have the captain of the community in Constantin Dunchu on the panel. Big up, Ozyman. How are you doing, bro?
Big up, coach. I'm not liking you at the moment because you're wearing red, so I'm just, I'm not a fan of you at the moment. I can't see you in red.
Uh,
It hurts my eyes.
blue is okay. I'm not gonna go into details. I do like red. That doesn't mean I support any club that wear red. But my favorite color is still blue. You understand? Let's
I
get that
understand,
out of
but
the
due to
way.
recent circumstances of a certain,
No, no. I should, but not that. That's not there. This is more like maroon. This is not their red. Yeah, no, 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 not their red. I would never wear their red. You should know that already. All right, Bundesliga as well too. He says I would say Serie A would be good for Lavia. It's a lesser physical. It's okay, a lesser physical league. Plus, let me see what he has to say. Plus, most of the time on the ball, less pressure, and the media won't talk crap about players. Is he currently injured? Injured? Why are you talking about him like he's currently injured?
he's not. No, and
No, he's
I'm
not.
not
I think he
sure.
stays.
I'm not sure why you're saying he's not physical. He's quite a physical player, actually. That is not his problem. Physicality is not his problem. He's very strong, and his problem is injury, not physicality. He has no problem playing in the Premier League with his physicality. He's probably one of our most toughest, midfielders there when he's on because he's so strong on the ball. That's why he's so pressure resistant so well. They can't get the ball off him, and he shields it very well because he's got very good strength. And that's definitely not his problem, physicality.
No, not at all, in my opinion. There's a lot of work to be done. I am happy about Alonso coming in, but I am also skeptical about how the board will support him. Do you think it coming if they hadn't promised to support him? He's here because they promised to support him, and even before his arrival, we already heard from the owners that we're going to look to sign more experienced players. Yeah. I don't think they will make and his sort of contract, should they call it quits, they're probably gonna pay him a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think they'd risk it. And I think it's sometimes, I'm not saying you're guilty of that. A lot of our fans sound as if they're happy to lose, which is for me the most stupid thing I've ever heard. I've heard for our fan base believe, and a lot of people actually believe that's the case. And you still hear people say all they care about is money. Money they're making from where? Making from not participating in Europe, and they don't want to win. It just doesn't make sense. Even trying to talk about it, you get confused yourself. But that's anything else you want to add to that?
Well, 20%, they won't have 20% of their salary. That's a big chunk. We'll be missing next season of their salary because of it. So, yeah, money is important. Yeah, and for a lot of them, that's a huge chunk for a lot of players. So, yeah, that's definitely nothing to discuss because, yeah, of course, money is important to them and playing as well. You know, these guys are professionals. They're trained. They always play to win. They're not going to play not to win. It's just, sometimes when things don't go right, they don't gel correctly, carrying some knocks, end of season fatigue, a lot of stuff can accumulate that people don't know about. But yeah, look, and I think that's what's happened to us, to be honest. I think a lot of stuff has accumulated to the end of the season because there's no way we were this bad even 2 years ago. We weren't quite this bad.
No, we weren't
So
this bad, yeah. And it's not down to or you can say us not having a good squad.
it's not down to that. Probably not a complete rounded squad to help, as obviously, like we know the signings, unfortunately, just didn't click how they're supposed to. Now that doesn't mean they're not going to, like Giddens, except Garnacho, the Lap, these ones. They just haven't really clicked to help, unfortunately, and obviously some bad timing with injury as well. So yeah, that's a real reason why. So I think a lot of players are probably carrying a bit of an injury. The coaching change was massive. It's not acceptable. Obviously, it's not acceptable. But yeah, there's a lot of circumstances why they did that. We're not such of a bad team. We've seen it. We've seen it earlier in the season. Mid-season, we saw it. We played Barcelona. Played
We've seen
all
it
these teams.
against some of the biggest teams in Europe.
Yeah, and we beat in Barcelona. Won their league. They're top of Spain, etc. And we beat them so comfortably. So that wasn't that long ago. So the team is good. Everything's good. Other stuff was going on, obviously. So with the new manager now in, a bit of certainty, a vision, he's going to get backed. He wouldn't have come otherwise if he's not getting backed. He's not that type of manager. So, yeah, look, the future is important, and this offseason is very, very important. Like I said, next season, not the worst thing we're not in Europe.
I think we're going to be competing. You could say we'll be fighting for the title next season. I'm confident, really, as long as we don't make too many changes.
Yeah, probably four max, maybe four
Yeah.
changes is probably good. So, yeah, look, I think we definitely can. With one game a week, the coach is going to have a lot more time with the players as well. And he'll probably trim the squad down a little bit because of that. So that will help. And
Here's the
yeah,
irony of the whole thing. Had
yeah, that's
we,
the irony of the whole
let's
thing. A
say,
bit,
let's say we did well enough, or you could say we were lucky to get Conference League or even Europa League, you still see after spending billion, you're celebrating the Europa League.
exactly. So
It was always going to happen, irrespective of how we finish the season. Even if we finish, you could say sixth and still qualify for the Champions League, or maybe fifth still qualify for the Champions League. You still hear those same people going after spending billions. It took Aston Villa winning. It took Aston Villa winning the Europa League and also finishing in a certain position for you to finish sixth and get the Champions League. Unfortunately. It is what it is, and I don't blame them. You can say where we find ourselves. You give them the tool with which to always have a go at the club, because at this point, irrespective of how those that think they just, you can say the whole thing they're saying lands on the owners. No, I think it impacts the club as an entity.
exactly, yeah.
But go ahead, what you're saying.
Yeah, look, I mean, it could be a blessing in disguise not getting Europe at all because of what
I
I
think
said.
it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't have mind even a Conference League. Like I said, you would have been able to send your B, C team and just give some youngsters and academy players, proper game time. So it wouldn't have been the worst. But this makes it, you're a bit more behind the scenes like this as well. There's no distractions, there's no extra travel, and I think that's really good for these players, especially the last 2 years they had with so much football as well. So I think that's going to really, really help. And yeah, I think with the manager in and the right signings, I think we can definitely challenge for the title next season.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let's see. There's a lot of work to be done. I agree with you, but don't be skeptical. Believe me, things. Listen, we knew. Some of us knew we weren't going to challenge for the title. A few people thought we were going to even win it. We knew we weren't ready, but things actually in the end we were worse than I had expected. Really, I didn't expect us to struggle as we did in the end. Lack of stability, you could argue, the main reason why that was the case. But we will eventually, in a few days or maybe tomorrow even, review the season and see. Look at the games, all of them, all the losses. Look at them one by one and discuss what went wrong for each of those games. Let's see during each of those games. Maybe I am actively trying to purge my eyes and mind of the happenings in the previous season. O'Shane Blood. Nice to see you, O'Shane. It will be again. It will be a much better season. I think we'll be fighting for the title if we spend wisely in the summer. I think we will be there, really. Unfortunately, Chelsea reaped what Blue Coast sowed. That be a solid argument. You could argue, respective of how you want to see it. I then say that just that he could have gone to a lesser physical league before he signed for Southampton. I think Southampton actually overused him. That's how I see it. Bundesliga is also good at developing midfielders as well as still Lavia would be perfect for that. Plus, he would be one of the best DMs in the Bundesliga. I think he stays at Chelsea. They like him and he's recovered, actually. Let's see what happens. It's up to Xavi to decide what he does with Romeo Lavia. Xavi has a harder job to do. I really don't think so. Than initially thought. I don't think so. Forget about our performance against Sunderland. I don't really think he has a lot of work to do. And even if that's the case, I think that's when you look at it from the perspective of the fact that we're not going to have European assignment, any European assignments, or maybe distraction if you prefer. I don't think he has a difficult job to do, in my opinion. Although the managerial job always difficult, but it's not as difficult as I believe you're saying it. Who's Modman are fighting? Just being told Andreas Santos could be sold and Malo Gusto from my sources. Okay, we'll see what happens there. It hasn't happened yet. All right, I'm going to scroll past a lot of stuff and then get your subsequent contributions in the chat because, it's free form, but we have to try the best we can to keep it aligned. Badia Sheila doesn't suit a fast-paced league. He's too slow for the Premier League. I don't think that's the case. Something actually happened. What that is, what that was, I don't know. They want Wesley Fofana gone. I don't know what to make of that guy. He still plays like he still comes across as raw, and I don't blame him for that. The injuries he's had since joining Chelsea, you could argue dwarfed his development. Which because had he been playing consistently since joining Chelsea, he'd be more polished right now. But unfortunately, sometimes he still does stuff on the pitch that reflect the fact that he's still developing. Hello to you too, Jeremy. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. Ocean Black, Javi has a harder job to do than no. I don't believe that's the case, but you're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. My understanding is that the SDs are trying to push Pendas as the number one goalkeeper, but the coach doesn't think he's ready. I think it's up to the manager. I don't think he's ready too, and that's my opinion. We have to do a keeper sell here too. Ocean, no, we haven't. We will. But we have the game, some news, and then from tomorrow onward, it will be the keeper sell. Jacques Pickens selecting Xabi Alonso's best 11, and which we usually adjust as the transfer window comes around. We pay attention to the signings we're making and adjust things as needed. You know that I am here daily. Respectfully, I am not ready to hear anything about Chelsea yet. I am still upset, angry at my family. The world won. The world one goal needed only. I came here just to like and leave. Richard, much love to you. I appreciate that. I understand that. Before I became a content creator, usually when we lose games or when we don't do well, I delete all sporting apps from my devices so I don't get updates on Chelsea. But I have to deal with it now. Go ahead, Dante.
Yeah, Richard, I think you need to chill a little bit there. It's not that serious. It's not it's not the end of the world. I think there's more important things, and I think your family is much more important than that, to be honest. So
the game should be secondary,
so don't
And let me say this. Dante, you've heard me talk about this before, how I found myself yelling unnecessarily at my kids, and I'll take a step back and say, what the heck? They don't play for Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly.
Family comes first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've had plenty of times my wife, tries to say something, talk to me, and obviously we just lost or something, and you answer back not that nicely or in a different tone, and she knows straight away. She's like,
transfer aggression.
She's like, Chelsea lost, didn't they? I'm like, yes, they did, yes.
Transfer aggression. I've learned to control myself even in that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yes.
That's a long time ago. Yeah. Well, eventually, you get used to, you could say, getting it under control, not letting your emotions drive your opinion and all that. But it takes you being a panelist or a content creator to get used to it. Because you have to try the best you can to speak objectively about every given situation. Sanchez should be a squad player at best. I disagree. I think he's still even better than Pendas. Can we do better than Sanchez? I'd say yes, probably. And his biggest problem is lapses in concentration that happens every now and then. Fofana should leave. I think he will eventually leave. Let's see. You says, I am hurt inside. All we needed was just one goal Thanks to Malagusto's own goal, we should sell Enzo if he wants to go. I'm for that too. No one is above the team. Those two guys that missed on the World Cup. Thank God. Houston, we've had Eden Hazard, and he left for Real Madrid. And we won Champions League after he left for Real Madrid. We couldn't win it when he's still with us. It's really that simple. Look, players come, players go. Managers come, managers go. Even owners come, owners go. Chelsea will remain. We lost Eden Hazard. The you can say the so-called, I think it'd be accurate to say that Chelsea's best manager ever didn't win us the Champions League. He had 2 stints at Chelsea. Didn't win us the Chelsea. I almost, you could say, punched somebody when he was fired the first time. I'm talking about Jose Mourinho. Did he win us the Champions League? No. Was he able to actually to take us to the final? No. It was Avram Grant in when he was first fired. Then on the 2 occasions that we won it, one interim manager and then Thomas Tuchel. So sometimes you could argue losing your best player or best manager. You don't. It's not the end of yours. It's not the end of the. You can say it doesn't necessarily mean that's it for you. Mbappe thought PSG. I'm not just speculating. Maybe he thought PSG would be worse off without him, or he'd be better off joining Madrid, or maybe after joining Madrid, the next season he'd win the Champions League. Has he won it? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe he won it and I missed it. Has he? He hasn't. PSG has won it one time and could still now has a chance to win it. For you can say to win a second one. Then it would be 2 consecutive seasons. So I love Enzo Fernández. Has always been one of his biggest defenders because I understand what he brings to the table as a footballer. Chances are would be better of having, you could say, another player who'd be capable of playing, operating from a deeper position and also more defensively solid. I'm not going to lose my SHIT about if he ends up leaving, which looks like he's more likely to leave Chelsea than not. And if in fact he did say he wants to play in the Champions League, then we should be. Let me just leave it at that. I don't think he said that because usually in such situation, juniors make up a lot of nonsense, which they know we get Chelsea fans. You can say they exploit our vulnerabilities, and we get the fans to click through whatever they put out there. I don't know. You wanted to add something to that, Dante?
Just an opinion from them. That's all. It's not quoted by Enzo Fernandez. It's just an opinion. That's all. So,
because it's, you can say the situation makes it believable.
Exactly. So you got to read those quotes properly. They're not really his quotes. It's just an opinion on that. So big difference, obviously. So would he probably want to play? Of course he wants. He's at the top level. He's won the World Cup of Argentina. He's won with us Club World Cup. Don't forget, he's been with us from the start of Blueco, basically. He's probably the first star signing that we did.
I think he was, yeah.
He played through a lot of bad football with Chelsea, so he gave a lot for Chelsea. He's played a lot of football as well.
No denying that.
So he's been here. Everybody's saying, he wants to go now because we're in a bad position. Well, no, he was here when we were in a much worse position. Those first 2 years, especially. He was through that. He went through, Potter. He went through, Pochettino, all our ex-coaches, all of our he's been through all those, and he lost a lot more as well. So he's already experienced losing and winning with Chelsea. So
and you could argue, actually, not necessarily. I don't think it has to do with us not being in the Champions League. I think he wants more money.
Well, he's gonna get it. He's gonna get an improved contract. He's due for one. He's probably,
yeah, but and there's nothing wrong in that. And if anybody says it's wrong, I think you're lying to yourself, because in our daily lives, even when we have multiple job offers, we often go for the highest paying job. You can say it's a job, for Christ's sake. That football is what he does for a living. Football is how he earns. You can say he puts food on the table for his family, and those you can say that he takes care of. Nothing wrong in that. But the most annoying thing is how Chelsea fans try to see it as a reason to start having a go at the club. And I hate it when I hear give him what he wants. It doesn't work like that.
No, it
As
doesn't.
Mitchell would say, they don't run a lemonade stand.
No,
I'd say
definitely not.
give them what's fair, and more importantly, what you can afford. If you cannot afford what the player is asking, then maybe it's time for both parties, you could say, to pathways and buy Felicia, and that's it. It's understandable. But usually, people outside who don't know, they just, you can say, twist it how they want to get more clicks and all that. But go ahead, Dante.
Yeah, exactly. And people forget these players, professional players, they've got basically a 10-year window from probably 20 years old to 30 years old to make as much money as possible. It's only 10 years. It's not long. So
Yeah, everybody's looking out for what's best for them.
yeah, so usually that's when you make your money, yeah, between 20 and 30. Probably some even start after 24 up to 30, 32 when you make your money, really. So you've only got a very small window when you're gonna really capitalize and make, top money. So I don't blame him for that at all. That's something you have to do because you're looking at yourself for your future after football as well. So, and for the family and for everyone else. So I don't care. If he wants the money, he wants the money. We pay him if we can pay him. We can make him the highest earner, up like Reece James is up there. We can make him the highest earner, no problem. But does he want a lot more? Does he want Real Madrid type of money, like 500,000-600,000 per week, like Mbappe, like the Galacticos get? They get 500, 600, 700, 800,000 a week. Does he want stuff like that? Does he want Man City to give him 400,000 a week or 300,000 a week? So yeah, look, if he wants that and he thinks he can get it, that's fine. But then Chelsea, well, then they'll want 150 million for him as well. So let's see if what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what happens. PSG won the Champions League without Mbappe and could win it 2 consecutive seasons. Yeah, I think Chelsea can do the same without Enzo. This is not the first time, really, and I've referenced how you said the perceived or maybe the so-called best ever Chelsea manager in Jose Mourinho. Yeah, he hasn't won it. Hasn't even actually made it to the final with us, has he? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think
So we
semi-finals.
won the Champions League. Is it a year after or 2 years after Eden Hazard left?
I can't remember exactly. It's
At
one or
most
two. I
two
can't
years
remember.
after he left,
Yeah.
but not long after he left. So these things happen. It could be a blessing in disguise. We could end up getting another player who'd be much better than him. I would want him to stay,
Not
but
much
this
better
is
coach, but he
yeah.
can change the dynamics of the team and get other players more involved, and then that helps the team better. So there's always, yeah, one player like that. You can let go because you can then fill it with a different type, a different profile that changes the dynamics of the rest of the team, and other players
Exactly.
then step up. They get more touches,
It's
they get more opportunity. Other players, and then they step up. So it's always been like that, and it always will be like that. It will, players come, players go. You win, you lose, doesn't matter the quality. It's always going to happen like that.
and from that perspective, you could argue we were able actually to a certain measure to perform as a unit at the Club World Cup because Cole Palmer wasn't really at his best.
Yep.
So we didn't rely, or you could argue, we didn't. Another way to see it would become more of a unit at the time. We could say we stopped being the Cole Palmer FC. You could argue that was one of the main reasons why we made it to the Club World Cup final and won it. Had it been under Pochettino when we were still Cole Palmer FC, mark him out of the game and we're done. Chances are we wouldn't have gotten to the final of the Club World Cup. So you're better off having a unit than having a team built around a single individual. And when that individual is marked out of a game, that's it for you. That's another way to see it. I hope that you can say adds to the point we're trying to make. Big up to you too, Ty. Nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation this particular morning, and I do hope you're doing well. We've addressed that, and joining me here it says, as much as I wanted Europa League, I am not too mad about it. I'm not. I just think, listen, the only thing was that it was an embarrassing loss We didn't deserve to even get a draw from that game, in my opinion. We can focus on the league where I expect us to challenge for the title and or nothing less. I think we're capable of doing that come 26-27 season. And I'm going to scroll past a lot of what you guys have there, and I'll try to get your subsequent contributions. Yes, Yakon, are you happy? You were right. Yeah, are you happy with loss? Okay, great. I hope you are happy. 10 years, more like 25 years deal, Dante. Anything else? I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. It's fire. The chat is fire, but I can't read everything you guys have there. I don't care where Enzo goes as long as Chelsea gets a Chomeni. If we're looking for replacement, Chomeni doesn't measure Enzo Fernandez's vision. And go to the measure of saying he doesn't measure Enzo Fernandez's passing range. Ability to beat the press. If you're talking about getting Chomeni as Enzo Fernandez's replacement, I disagree. If anything, Chomeni will come in. It will be a good name to have. But then again, we'll lose the balance that Enzo Fernandez brings to the team. If you're mentioning Chomeni as a replacement for Enzo Fernandez, it won't work. Dante, your thoughts?
Well, obviously not like for like, but you know, he is a good player, tall, strong, physical.
Yeah, no denying that.
Yeah, very good passer of the ball. So, like I said, another player comes in like that, but it wouldn't be just Chouameni. It'll probably be another one if you do sell him because we'll have money. So, but yeah, you just change the dynamics of the team. Then you have to change how Caicedo plays. You got another player who plays in that 10, another player. It doesn't really matter. You bring in quality like a Chouameni. He's quality and he's very good. He'll be suited to the Premier League because he's got that physicality, height, passing rate, good, nice passing, quick passing on the floor. Has done it at a big club. You know, he knows about pressure and how to play that.
But let me simplify the question this way. If we're looking for Enzo Fernandez replacement, is Chouameni the guy?
No, he's not.
He's
the
not
Enzo replacement. He's just a player you bring in if you can in the deal. I think that's what they're trying to say. If Enzo goes to Real Madrid, we bring Chouameni. I'm fine with that because you can use him very well in the Premier League. He's a very good player.
Ask yourself, if your son played for this Chelsea, would you want him to stay in this clueless, messy club or join Madrid or City? It depends on what my son wants. If my son wants to stay at Chelsea, yes. Reece James wanted to stay at Chelsea irrespective of the situation. He probably knew there was a chance we're not going to finish in the top 4. And his dad, listen, I'm not like you. We're different. And I'm sensing you're the type of person that will even tell your son, leave Chelsea. It depends on what my son wants. It's simple. Even though my son is not even 10 yet, most of the times it depends on what he wants. Then if he wants something wrong, I'd say don't do it. But if my son plays for Chelsea and the situation we find ourselves in, and he says he want to stick it out, he loves the club that much, stay. And I'm not going to even advise him to leave. But if Madrid comes calling and he wants to join Madrid, and I'll say, okay, if that's what you want, if that's what makes you happy, go. And have I said Enzo Fernandez should stay? If you've been listening, that's one thing that's the biggest problem I have with you, Yakon. You always come, you don't listen. You just throw in whatever you feel like there, and you're telling me the next line he says that's a yes or no question. How can that be a yes or no question? I'm not a dictator. So, because I love Chelsea, more importantly, but it still comes down to what my son wants. I'm going to repeat that again. I don't dictate what my son does, except when it's something dangerous, some certain decisions he's not supposed to make because, yeah, he's still under 10. But I'm not sure where you're coming. You actually, I swear, you hate this club. I'm sorry.
Even a Chelsea supporter, I really don't know.
Yeah, whether you actually really want this club to succeed, I get your rationale that maybe we need to self-destruct and then rebuild. It doesn't make sense to me. You sound like you hate this club. I'm sorry. I respect you, but seriously, you do sound like you hate Chelsea. You sound like you want things to go wrong so that you can say, I told you guys. And I knew that you were going to come back to remind me that you told me we were going to lose.
It's obvious, yeah.
It's obvious. Come on, man. Act, just pretend you still care about Chelsea. Hate the owners all you want, but pretend you still care about the success of the club. You probably were one of those who didn't believe we were gonna win the Club World Cup because it was against PSG. You sound like one of those that will swear that probably that yeah we're getting trashed. At least try. You say I'm not sure what else to say to you, Yakan. I respect you. I respect your opinion because that's how we operate here. But seriously, sometimes you just like to. Yeah, my son on that age requires guidance. But what my son becomes a professional footballer, even if he's still 17, 18, if he loves Chelsea, fine. You're telling me if you're a dad, you will force your son to go sign for another club because you feel like the club isn't doing well. Is that your rationale? Is that your reasoning here? Since you're saying your next comment, you're saying your son would require guidance. I get it. They don't, unlike people at Chelsea, they play football there. So that my son requires guidance wouldn't mean I'd tell him to leave Chelsea and run. Because I love Chelsea, I tell him it's up to you. If Madrid wants you and you want to go to Madrid, go ahead. But if you want to stick it out with Chelsea because you know I love Chelsea and you love Chelsea, fine. So I'm not sure you're trying to like be all smart about it. You can say shove words into my mouth. But I respect your opinion. I like this sort of conversation, but Jesus Christ, you drive me nuts. And then I start asking, do you really care about Chelsea? Dang it. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Enzo Fernandez and proper Charles. He can leave. I would pay to have Bruno G or Barilla Histon. I respect Fernandez. Dante did put it very well. He's been here through thick and thin, all the suffering, even we had no Champions League. He has every right to ask for more. I've mentioned how this is his job. And for all of us in our lives, in our respective lives, when we have multiple job offers on the table, we'll almost always go for the best paying jobs.
And
Even
when do you ask for
sometimes,
that?
even when you're happy working for a particular entity, if another entity says, hey, we've seen your skill set, and you know what? If they're paying you 300K a week, we can pay you 350 to 400K a week.
Yep.
And then you tell your current employer, so usually what people do is you go ask for a raise without even telling them that a certain entity is looking to hire you and are willing to pay you well. If they don't give you the raise, you leave. And I've worked for organizations where when I said I'm leaving, at least one I can remember, and I told them, here's why I'm leaving. I need to earn a lot more. I have kids now. And actually, I got a sent for party. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes they will try to convince you loyalty and all that. So we're not saying Enzo Fernández should definitely stay. We're not saying he's a bad player. If he wants to leave, up to him. The only thing I hated was him twerking for Real Madrid naked and all that. But despite the way, I'm going to try to find comments from those of you that I haven't read your comments because, the comment section is on fire. And if you haven't, please take a second, drop a like on the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way. Yes, shamelessly, we still do ask for likes because we're not a big account yet and we're getting closer and closer to 30K subscribers. And once we get there, we will do a Chelsea kit giveaway, a custom Chelsea kit giveaway with your name at the back. And if you prefer the cash equivalent, you will get it. That's what we do. Chomeni plays in the same position as Makalele or John Michalobi. I'm just saying he's not the same. If you're all saying bring him in as Enzo Fernandez replacement like for like, that's a no-no. I'd like to have him at Chelsea. Let's see. I've answered your question and I'm going to move on from that really. Santos can be Enzo's replacement. No. Santos cannot measure Enzo's vision if you really want Enzo's replacement. But as Dante said, sometimes you don't look for like. Sometimes you just get what you have. It depends on what the manager wants. Some chances that the next person comes in and he'll be, you can say, get the job done. Might not measure Enzo Fernandez in terms of his GA per season, but in other aspects of the game, be a monster and help us do even much better. And we've referenced instances where we lost Hazard, won the Champions League. Mourinho, the assumed or maybe the believed greatest manager Chelsea have ever had, hasn't won the Champions League with us, hasn't even made it to a final with us. So you don't go, you can say, use your belt and put it on your fan and you know what, because a player leaves. Yeah, let's see. Big up to everyone in the chat. Be good. Do not score an own goal, Tobago. All right. Anything else? I'm going to scroll to the very bottom and then I'll try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. Let me see. Tobago says Dante out. Excuse me. I'm still, again, Dante's, the Australian honey that Dante sent me is still helping me, because I wouldn't be able to host the show if I don't have it. And I don't even let my wife touch it. They're using the local one here from Texas, which is also good. All right, Wesley Fofana is the worst. I think he's probably, I don't know. I don't think the club would want to sell him for a loss. All right, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom and then I'll try to get your subsequent contributions in the chat. But let's see what Tebejo has to say here, because I haven't read any of his comments here. He says, Enzo Fernandez has been at Chelsea when we are in bad times. Now we are going to the same direction again and people want to hate. I'm not hating on him. I just hated how he talked for Real Madrid. He has every right to ask for more money. He's the one that he actually does the most running of all Chelsea players. I get it, Chelsea players hate him for no reason, maybe for lack of the understanding of what he brings to the table. And that started with the locals when Conor Gallagher was sold, because they wanted him to be gone instead of Conor Gallagher getting sold. And I think it trickled down to a lot of fans actually that unnecessarily, but you know what? I don't blame them, because the average fan sees football from three lenses or perspectives: win, loss, draw. And that's it. They don't usually understand what individual players and how players complement each other and all that. My wife plays much better than the lab. Just go away. Enzo from deep this year, he had a good season. Have you looked at his numbers? Maybe you haven't. Really. It says, I come across as very critical of this club, which should speak to how much I care. I understand that way, but I'm entitled. Yakon, you're entitled to say anything you want about the club, and I'm entitled to perceive whatever you're saying as I deem fit. And he says, I want to call out the hypocrisy. Good, enjoy. And you know I respect your opinion, and I hope you don't take anything personally, but yeah, I have to respond the way I deem fit. Yes, this is why I don't want the Enzo Fernandez replacement to be like for like. I want a different profile, or you could say a much better profile. And Enzo Fernandez, you could argue, had we been a lot more clinical in front of goal, he'd have twice as much as the assist numbers he has right now. In all honesty. Great to see you too, Trifecta Sport. Nice to see you, my bro. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. I cannot thank you enough. Much love to you. I enjoy following your account on X. Yeah, let's see. Espresso would help, not Dante's. You don't know how traditional remedies work, so. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Coach is drinking ukomboti. Is that how you pronounce it? The South African drink I first heard about from Jovan Chaka Chaka. Ukomboti. Ukomboti. All right, I love that song. I don't forget it. Big up to you too, Blue Lions. Chelsea, nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. And yes, we are at the very bottom. Dante, final question on Enzo Fernandez before we move on the next topic. It's not a structured show, so the next topic could be anything, and nothing lined up to talk about. We'll go news hunting, and if you find anything interesting, we'll talk about it. Enzo Fernandez looks like he's definitely going to leave. But I think it'd be wrong to say there isn't that possibility that he stays at Chelsea. I think he can. Dante, what do you think happens if you think he leaves? For how much do you think he'd leave? Let's hear you.
Well, had a look at the numbers a little bit, and I looked up someone that knows quite a bit about that, and they kind of broke it down what the numbers are. So basically, with the amortization that he's been here, the last 4 years, etc., in his contract, what's left, etc. So basically, anything over 60 sort of million pounds is a profit for Chelsea. So will go as a profit on the books. So you're looking at, like if you sell him for 100, 120, well, yeah, you do the math. So that's double. Say you're selling for 120, well, that's double. You're getting 60. You're getting 60 million on the books as a profit. So yes, so I think probably that's probably around the fair price, around there. I reckon around the 100, 120 million, and then you're basically doubling your money from then on. So yeah, that's probably the fair price. Now, what that price is fair to who and how much they want to pay and how much we let him go for, that's completely different. How the deal would be structured, how much money up front. There's a lot of variables with these contracts these days. There's too many variables. Can't even follow it anymore, to be honest. There's so many variables. So yeah, but basically anything over 60 million is a profit. So
So you're
yeah,
saying anything over 60 million for him right now will be a profit?
so anything. So like I said, if we sell him for 80, like Lama saying on there, that's only a 20 million profit. Okay, so if we sell him, like I said, for 120, well, then that's a 60 million profit, basically, close, give or take. I'm not giving exact, but it's give or take there. So yeah, I'm looking more at that 120, to be honest. I wouldn't sell him for 80 million. That's not fair, in my opinion.
Especially after the World Cup.
That's under, yeah, if he wins the World Cup with Argentina, I can tell you that, well, that price is definitely up to that 120 mark and not low, not down to the 80 mark, because yeah, you have a two-time World Cup winner, and if they do, he's a starter in that team. He'll be very influential in that team, and he'll be one of the reasons why they do win it as well with the other players. But he'll be one of the main reasons because he's very involved in that team and the position he plays. So
You
yeah,
could
look,
argue he's currently one of their best players, actually.
yeah, of course he is.
Well, and
Yeah.
I'd be accurate to say also one of the most experienced currently.
No, they got a lot of experience around, so that's the thing. They've got all the other ones are quite older now, so all those other midfielders around him, they're a bit older than him. So he's still the youngster in that team, to be honest. But that just tells you that's why would cost more, because he is young, and you're not getting 2, 3 years, 4 years out of him. You can get it basically from now, nearly 8 to 10 years from him. So that's why that price would be higher as well.
Where do you think he ends up? City or Madrid? I think most likely Madrid. I think Madrid probably will be more. City they spent a lot of late, and Madrid haven't spent that much of late. Probably they'll be. I think they'll splash the cash this summer transfer window.
They have to.
For City, they spent a lot in recent windows. Probably not going to be spending quite a lot this time, except if they move on players.
No, they will, because we talked about this a couple of shows ago. Bernardo Silva's leaving, one of the highest
As a
earners
free
there.
agent.
Yeah, but one of the highest earners as well. So
Okay, so that frees up cash.
yeah, that's a lot of cash, and they need another midfielder. They're gonna try, but I don't see him going. If he's gonna leave, he's not staying in England to go to Man City. He's going to Real Madrid. He's not even gonna look at Man City, to be honest.
Who?
I think this is just links.
Who's not
They
going to look
might
at
want
Man
him,
City?
or
Have you heard that they've actually had conversations, and maybe all rumors?
it's rumors. We don't know. It's just rumors. I think Maresca wants him. Obviously, he wants him there, and he would have talked to him probably. I believe that to be true, but it doesn't mean that Enzo would go there. If he's got an option of Madrid and Manchester, I mean, you think he's not going to Madrid?
Where do you think he has space to play?
Where in City? You said?
City more likely. I think he has. Bernardo Silva's departure means he's the closest to Bernardo Silva.
He can do that, but also don't forget that Madrid are crying out for a playmaker,
Cross
basically deep flying
replacement.
playmaker. Yeah, so at both teams, he would fit any team. In any of those teams, he would fit. But there's no way he's turning down a move to go to Real Madrid. over Man City. I can guarantee you that he'll be going to
Because,
Madrid
yeah.
if that's on the table. Don't forget, Madrid offers a lot more salary as well. Madrid is one of the clubs, Barcelona, these guys can offer salary more than Man City, they can. So that's also a draw. They don't offer the money as much up front like Man City does, but you know how they've been getting. They can pay a lot of wages. We're talking 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, 800,000.
But
Some
I
of the
don't think
players
he's
are on.
that player that they give from 400 up.
Yeah, look, Pete, he'll
Maybe
be.
after the World Cup if he wins it again.
If he wins it, he'll be a Galactico signing if he wins the World Cup for them. And they need to splash and do that because Barcelona's outshadowing, they're in their shadow, sorry. So they need to do something this off season. And Enzo Fernandez will probably be the perfect signing, quote unquote, a Galactico signing if he wins the World Cup. So yeah, I think they would splash the cash on him. They don't need that many players, Real Madrid. So they would probably spend that money and pay him more than City would in salary because they do. They just pay more than even City. And now City give payments in a different way. Sometimes they do pay differently in different ways. So there's always off the book stuff always happening with Man City. There's a lot of
They
off the
might
book.
actually still get relegated or be fined a humongous monetary fine. We don't know.
We don't know that, and
But
but I can.
monetary fine, I think, will cause an uproar. You can say people will like a lot of the clubs in the Premier League will object.
A lot would object, yeah, but it is what it is. One day they'll probably, look, we did a
They
lot of
have
that
the,
stuff.
you can say
Chelsea
they
did a
have the
lot of that
money
stuff.
to like hire the best lawyers in the UK and you can say prolong the whole you can say court battle to
Of
at
course,
some point the Premier League would just cave in and say yeah, let's just find them and
their
move on.
ownership has no money problems. They don't know what money is. I mean, they know what money is, but they don't care about money because they have so much of it. They don't know what to do with it. But there are
The only
rules in
thing
place.
holding them back is the restrictions. You could say the FFP, PSR. If not for
Correct.
that,
That is the only thing holding them back.
yeah.
Otherwise, they would go for every single and pay way over. Even Real Madrid, they would pay a lot more than any club in the world because they can, because they're basically state, country backed, the richest countries in the world. So yeah, look, I just don't see him going to Manchester because I don't see him staying in England. There's no way he would turn down a move for Real Madrid to go to Man City. I just don't see that happening. Sorry.
All right, let's catch up with what we have in the chat. We gained a new member. I'm trying to find out who that is so we can appreciate them. Let me see. Where do I see that? Why am I not seeing that? Or maybe it's or someone that was a member and rejoined. I'm not sure. Why am I not seeing that? I don't like it. But maybe I still find it. And Javelin Ismail says Bruno Guimaraes, Adam Wharton, and Elliot Anderson for Enzo Fernandez. The question now is: Are we going to be looking? Are we going to be looking? Are we going to be looking for like for like? Everything comes down to what Xavi Alonso wants, really. Let's see. All right, let's see. And Yakon is saying it's good that you already know I'm on the opposite side of the popular spectrum. I will be happy the day you sacrifice a small ambition for the greater good of the club. No, there's a way I read that. I don't want to say it because you might read it the wrong way. Anybody that's able to let something to destruct because they want to fix it is capable of doing the unthinkable. That's just how
Yes.
I see it. That might not be the case, or maybe definitely not the case with you. I don't know you personally, but I'm just saying if you're able to accept something, this it's self-destructing or destroying or you could say failing for the other one to succeed. It's a strategy, but if you look at it, anybody that's capable of doing that, I don't think whether they whether they have limits.
Where is
Yeah.
Yakon from anyway? Yakon, where are you from? Are you? I can't remember where you were from, etc. Background. Yeah, I can't remember at all. So maybe you'll let us know where you're from. Are you from England? Are you English or we can't remember? Oh, looks like Coach had to go for a second. I'll continue on. Um, where were we? Let's see. Oh, he's back. Yeah, go on, coach.
All right, thank you. Sorry, my daughter pops in because I left the office door open. So, all right, let's see. Kachila, I will take Adrian Truffard at Chelsea. He is good at attacking. I don't know him that well to do you actually. I like the profile of Lamine Camara of Monaco. Do you know him, Dante?
Yeah. I watched him recently playing against Strasbourg. I watched the game with him playing, and he scored. I think I can't remember. It was 2 goals or 1 goal, 2 assists. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, he was. Yeah, he was pretty impressive. He runs a lot, covers a lot of the. He's a central midfielder. He covers the field everywhere. He ran like crazy all over the place. So he's got that endurance to run around quite a bit. He's not a big guy. He's a smaller guy. So yeah, I don't think Bobby would be very happy if we sign him. So, but otherwise, yeah, look, good young player, runs around very well, looked very good. Probably can play in the Premier League, I think. Yeah, that's probably why Teberga is bringing him up because he's got that running ability and eye for a goal as well for an assist. Good young player, but yeah, I don't know. There's too many of them. People keep putting up names. I'm surprised, like even some of Tobago going with a young player like that when we're looking for more
And
experienced
when he'd
players.
be the first to complain about signing another, but maybe Lamine is more experienced because we're guilty of using experience and age interchangeably.
Well, no, he's young. I'm pretty sure he's like 21 or so, 22. I can't remember. He's pretty young.
Yeah. All right. Modmana coach Iwan Elliott Anderson, and rumors are that we're actually interested in signing him. Whether to believe that or not, I don't know. Upfront
That
Osimhen
City is also a
and
target. Let's
Yildiz.
not forget.
And can we talk about this? I know we've seen rumors, but rumors didn't necessarily say that Chelsea are looking to sign Osimhen, right? What I read suggests that Osimhen's camp, they're looking for a top, like I said, to get him a move to a top European club, and one of the clubs being mentioned, Chelsea. Osimhen, for me, would mean that Xavi Alonso will basically change his approach. And I'm going to say this. I know a lot of my Nigerian brothers are attacking me on X, on Instagram, and then some are actually cursing me out, but I was able to respond in kind with my dialect too. And some of them, when I see their names, I will know where they're from, and then I'll respond with the curse myself in that particular language. I followed Osimhen since his under 17 days. He's an excellent number 9, box number 9. To be more specific, he's excellent aerially. He makes intelligent runs. He's powerful. He's quick. Can put away chances that come his way. But when compared to Victor Boniface, maybe Osimhen is a much better finisher. Victor Boniface is a well-rounded than Osimhen is. He's a better dribbler, better at driving the ball. He's better at dropping deep, participating in the play, creating chances for his teammates. That doesn't mean he's better than Osimhen. And I've told people this 1,000 times. I'm not saying we're looking to sign Osimhen. But if we're going by the rumors which some content creators picked up, because they want clicks, they said that speaking as if we're actually interested in signing Osimhen. The report did not say anything from Chelsea's perspective, from Osimhen's camp's perspective. But my point is, if we're going to sign a striker for Xabi Alonso, the better fit will be a striker like Victor Boniface, which I did mention in the post that actually concerns his injury record. He's hardly ever fit. But I'd rather him than Osimhen, since we have somebody like the whole load won't be on him. We still have João Pedro, and the Emira is still coming. So I'm not sure why people, they just conclude that Osimhen, my argument wasn't actually who's better than the other. My argument was actually about, you say, who's a better fit. And that's, I want to get your thought. We're not actually looking to sign any of the two players. But if you have to choose, which of them do you think will be a better fit for Alonso's fit? Clearly, For me, Boniface, who's also played under him, and go watch Bayer Leverkusen games and see how he operated. They don't use their number nines in the traditional manner. Sometimes you see him drop deep on the flanks, left and right, creating for his teammates. And that's not Osimhen for you. And Osimhen is an excellent... If we had Mourinho, I'd say bring him Osimhen. But go ahead, let's hear you.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's played under him. That's the style he likes. He likes a striker needs to drop deep. Can also go wide. That's what Xabi Alonso likes in a forward. So, yeah, it's a little bit different. Obviously, he wants him to be involved in the play, in the build-up, which like João Pedro does basically. So, yeah, it's not really his type of striker. And of course, yes, he wouldn't really suit him at all, to be honest. How many goals do you think Osimhen scored in the Turkish league this season, Coach?
Not a lot, but again, enough to help his team. Do you know who scored more than him? Another Nigerian.
Yeah,
one
like
of the top scorer of the Turkish league.
33-year-old, yeah.
Yeah, what's his name again? I liked him actually. Paul Onachu.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Go ahead, Dante, give me 1 second.
League this season. To me, that's pretty poor, to be honest. Yeah, I know they did, they won, but 15 goals in the Turkish league, to me, that's, yeah. Why did that happen? Well, they started marking him much closer, paying attention, because he had a better season, obviously, when he joined. So they kind of marked him out of games, and yeah, he couldn't really do it this season. So that just shows me that, in the Premier League, it'll be much tougher for him, yeah. But it depends, like you said, coach, formation, strategy is very important for a player like that. So with Xavi Alonso, that's not going to work. It's not the type of striker he uses. So no, definitely a no to Osimhen because of that. They won't even look at him. He wouldn't be on any list at all anyway.
Now, all people pay attention is that he's a good goal scorer. Just get him. And we've been there before. I'm not saying Lukaku didn't succeed at Chelsea, but he didn't do as well as a lot of people expected him to do. But you can say that's more importantly down to the fact that Thomas Tuchel is not a manager who's known to use traditional number nines. He's not into building his team around a single individual. And he did say that during one of the interviews. And I knew that was going to be an issue, which I asked HH during an interview. What's this guy? This is my Indian good friend also, not Ankit. I told them Thomas Tuchel is not known to play with the traditional number 9. Lukaku is good, but we don't have Mourinho. Thomas Tuchel is different. From his Mainz days, Borussia Dortmund to PSG, even when he had Cavani and who again, there's one other person he had, Icardi. We all know how they played. So signing Osimhen for Xabi Alonso would mean Xavi has to change his approach to accommodate him. And you could argue Osimhen himself probably knows that. But a lot of people, they just want the club to sign him because it's Osimhen. Then when he comes in and we start playing the way we play, because yeah, it's not about the number 9. When Osimhen don't get 20 goals, to ends up with 12 goals per season, they'll start calling him a flop.
Let's move on from Osimhen, coach. It's not going to happen. It's not
going to happen. But I just wanted to point out how I was saying if in fact we're looking to sign him, we'd be better off going for Boniface and not him.
100%. What I would, with Jabulani there, what I would agree, the next name in that, what he's mentioned there, Yildiz, now that's a player that would really suit the system. That's a perfect fit for Xabi Alonso's system. So
even Jackson will be a perfect fit.
Yeah, plays that inside 10. He's pretty physical as well. Good height, strength, technical abilities, probably the top, the most you can probably do. So, yeah, in that inside 10, he can play a little bit wider as well. But, that's his probably perfect position, that one of those 2 10s next to Cole Palmer. Like, he would be a perfect signing. And they're not in Europe, I think. They missed out, I think, on as well on Champions League and that. I don't think they're in Europe. Or did they get... Oh, it was just not Champions League, I can't remember. So they're in a bit of a big change at the moment. So he might be gettable with you got to pay a lot of money for him, but he might be gettable, that type of player. And I think that's the type of player Xabi Alonso would would want, because that's the type of player we lack in that in that position. So yeah, the yield is 100%. That's one of my top as well. Yep.
Probably going to be too expensive right now after signing a new contract and winning Serie A as young player of the season, didn't he?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Juventus need money now because they didn't.
But even, yeah, that more reason why to ask for more.
Yeah. Look, you can pay a bit. You can always pay a bit more for a talent like that. Chelsea's not scared of paying. It's just the actual, the salaries and the agent fees to fit into the structure. But Chelsea will play. Chelsea will pay money for him. Chelsea's got money to pay. We'll have money to pay this off season, especially after we sell some players. We're gonna have money. I don't think money is a problem to actually buy players.
Yeah. All right. Range Tijani. I don't think City are looking to sell them. What's Xavi? Ibro, my bro. That one. KK. Ibro says, what can Xavi say for Enzo to stay? It's not about Xavi. I think everything you've seen about him wanting to play in the Champions League, for me, that's all made up. I think if the club says, okay, let's pay you how much you're asking, I think he stays. Straight up. So it's not about Xavi wanting him to stay. Even if Xavi wants him to stay, the club would have to pay him, give him, you could say, a pay rise that he'd look at and say, okay, you know what? Yeah, we got a good manager, and you know what? The promise looks like, yeah, we're definitely going to sign more experience. You could say more good players in the summer to make us even better. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily. It's you could say Xavi could play a part, but you can. Xavi will not feed his Enzo Fernandez family with his money. You get the point, Dante.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and let's not forget what's very important here is because we haven't qualified for Champions League or European football, they lose 20% of their salary, and Enzo is on that as well. So, all of a sudden you're making 200 normally, you're going to go down to 140, so 160, 140. Well, you're going down a lot. So, of course, he probably wants Reece James, on 250, around that. Is he worth it? 100% he's worth it. He's definitely worth Reece James' money, even a little bit more.
Yeah, he's worth it, yeah.
Opinion. That's how
Fofana is earning 200 plus.
He's on 200, yeah. 200,
yeah, he shouldn't. So I think that's actually some of the things that these players will look at and go, like, what the heck?
Yeah, but I think they will understand that was signed previously. You know what I mean? So
I will not.
Yeah. No. No, I mean
I'm
that's
saying if I were him, I wouldn't. But I
of course
get
you're gonna
it.
want money. Like I said, especially after the season you just had, a 21 GA. He got another assist as well. 21 GA. I mean, this is when you're at your top. You've just scored. You 21 times assisted and scored, helped the team. Pretty much. Like João Pedro, player of the season. He's probably second behind him, to be honest. Him and Reece James. He's probably that. It was very close, I think, for player of the season. So, yeah, of course he needs a pay rise, and definitely the same money as Reece James, one of the top earners there. Of course, he has to be one of those guys, and I'm sure the club do that. We saw they reward. They always reward. They've been slowly topping up players and giving them extension a bit more every year as they do better. So it's not that they won't do it. It's just what Enzo is probably asking a lot over the top from anyone. Probably there's a big gap. So probably that's why that's happening. So I think they will pay him. I don't think that will be the problem. It's just where Enzo's heart is. Does he want to stay in London? Does he want to stay?
And the fact that he talked for Madrid the way he did.
Yeah, or has he got an offer and he knows that Madrid can pay the money as in fee for him and much bigger salary. Of course, it will be a much huger salary than at Chelsea. So if he goes, he goes. If he stays, he stays. Either way, it's good for Chelsea because we're going to get a lot of money for him and able to sign more players. If he stays, we still have a very, a world-class player basically. So either way is okay.
I mean, if we offer him something considerable, I think the lure to play under one of the best midfielders ever could be a factor in, you could say, getting him to stay. But let's see. We'll pay attention to what's
Yeah, that
happening.
is, and there is a bit of a hierarchy in dressing rooms, as in salary wise, and that's why I say him as a central attacking midfielder, Reece James as a right back, whatever. Uh, the central midfielders and the attacking midfielders is always going to have more money, get more paid than a right back. That's just normal, and that's just respected in a dressing room. A striker is going to usually have more money than a defender, etc. So yeah, I think he's probably thinks that he should be the top earner, and I would tend to agree with him. The position he's playing, how much running he does, he's
It,
been available a
and
lot.
do you know the irony of the whole thing? So Chelsea fan call him lazy and all that. He does a lot of running, and defensively he does contribute too.
Of course he does. It's just, he can look slow at times because he can get beaten because he hasn't got that explosive pace, acceleration off the spot. So he can get caught out at times, but that's his only weakness, really. And a lot of the times he puts in great challenges. Again, the last game against Sunderland, he had like two or three crucial blocks and tackles to win the ball back right before, and they would have been through if he didn't do that. So he does add defensively as well. Now it just doesn't look good on the eye sometimes because he runs so much, and sometimes he's a little bit out of breath and can get passed by pretty quickly from some really speedy players. But other than that, he run like I said, he covers the most ground every game for Chelsea. He's the
And the
top
truth remains, he's
kilometers.
become a much better player since joining Chelsea from Benfica.
Oh yeah, he definitely has. Especially the last 2 years, he's really taken a next step. Since he's fixed up his hernia and stuff, I think he's been injury free. He's obviously the last 2 years after that, he's been like last season extremely good. This season, like even a little bit better. He's gone even up a notch this season. So the trajectory is there. He's for me, he's a world class player now, in my personal opinion.
All right, let's catch up with a few of what we have there. Talk about the game and then go news hunt. And big up to you too, Jay. Nice to have you here. I do hope you're doing well here. Enzo Fernandez to Man City, Enzo Maresca. You guys are actually, you think Enzo Maresca is Pep Guardiola. You'll find out the hard way. I'm not going to say much now. I think Madrid will go for Rodri from Manchester City, and Man City wants Enzo. Man City's priority is it Wharton, not Enzo. Enzo was just mentioned according to Fabrizio Romano.
I think Elliot
One,
Anderson is the priority.
yeah, exactly, not him. Yeah. So and we're also looking at Anderson too, right?
Apparently, but he's gonna, yeah, he's very expensive. I wouldn't pay.
And Jose Mourinho, yeah, that's another factor. Might not want Enzo Fernandez at Real Madrid, but at Madrid
He has no
usually,
say there.
but
Jose has no
usually
say there.
Madrid they sign players and basically impose it on the manager. They go for Galacticos value in terms of what the player has won, and the players they also it's a profile that they really do need. And Mourinho can actually make him a much better player, but especially if he wins the World Cup, Madrid are definitely signing him.
Of course, Jose Mourinho can play him and would use him because Jose Mourinho likes to play with, keep the ball, possession, pass, technicality as well. So you have the other guys around him to do the dirty work, and they've got those players. Of course, they would use him very, very well, actually. Mourinho would actually, like you said, probably even make him a little bit better.
I like Barilla quite a lot. Will he ever come to Chelsea? We've been looking at Barilla since he was 17, 18 or so. Yeah. Much respect to you, to the big player who are gonna stay. But I will not blame anyone like Enzo who wants to leave because they have high expectations. I don't think it's that it's about expectation. I think it's about money, really. And you could say Kukurea in his case, I think probably he was always going to leave because he has just 2 years left on his contract. And why did the club, you could say, insist on having an extension rather than just a pay rise? They probably knew he was going to leave, and I prepared for him. Barco can play in that position. What's his name can also play in that position. Yoro Hato can also play in that position. But if Alonso wants him to stay, he stays. But I don't think the club will break the bank to keep him. Your thoughts, Dante?
Well, again, someone's going to have to break the bank to get him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not cheap. He's probably one of the best two, the best 1-2 sort of left backs in the world. Him and Nuno Mendes. Those, even though I think he's struggled the last sort of. I think more down to fatigue and probably carrying something the last sort of 7-8
You
games.
said tiredness, the Club World Cup and everything, lack of proper break.
And he's played a lot too, yeah. So he's played a lot as well. So that's what I mean. I think it's more down to that. End of
He's,
season
one of the
fatigue,
most
etc.
used players at Chelsea.
Exactly, and how he plays as well. The way he applies himself on the field, he puts 100% energy, always running a lot and always very committed. So yeah, I've seen him slow down a bit this last 7-8 games. Definitely, he's slowed down a bit, a little bit expected to be honest, the way he plays. So yeah, look, again, someone's got to have to pay him. Wages. Wages, he'll be fine. He's not one of those guys that wants crazy wages. But like I said, he's probably the top two left backs in the world. Well, that demands quite a bit of money. Don't forget, we paid. How much did we pay for him again, Coach? 55? No.
For
Yeah,
who?
it was nearly 60 million. So they're gonna want that plus on top of that as well. He's in his prime as well right now. So yeah, he's not going to be cheap. Anyone who wants him, they're going to have to pay around that 70, 80 million easily, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, you mean? Sorry, I was distracted a bit. We're still talking about Cucurella, right?
Yeah, yeah. If anyone wants him, they have to pay
70
probably 70 million at least, minimum.
for 2 years. With 2 years, just 2 years left on his
It's
current
more than 2
contract.
years. It's more than 2 years, Coach. Two and a
It's
half,
more
I
than
think.
2 years,
Yeah.
so he's not going to go for cheap. Okay. All
Well, no,
right.
'cause we paid nearly
Any
60 for
signing will
him.
be welcome, but no more junior secondary school kindergarten stuff anymore. Xavi is a good manager. I don't think Chelsea will stop signing young players. They're not signing all of them to become part of the first team, and I think you already know that. Mourinho will not go for Enzo for obvious reasons. That Jose would not want to be seen kicking Chelsea in the teeth. Yeah, right. That's just sentiment. So Man City is the most probable destination for Enzo. That's a sentiment. That
He
is
doesn't
just
care.
pure sentiment. If he wants Enzo Fernandez, he comes.
Well,
He will come for him.
let me tell Jabulani. Let's remember, Matic went from Chelsea to Man United. Mata went from Chelsea to Man United. Mourinho was involved as well. So yes, I don't think.
Matt was already at Man United before Mourinho's arrival, but Mourinho
Yeah,
was
it was
involved in
at
the movement for Matic,
Matic was the one. Yeah, yeah, Matic.
wasn't he?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I don't think he cares about that, to be honest.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Honestly, he says, "I'd keep forgetting." Okay, we keep forgetting.
No.
We have Kendrick Pies as a second 10. I think he has. Would it be accurate to say behavioral issue?
I don't know if it's behavioral issues. I think it's just, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen, could be a bit of laziness or just professionalism, as in not being able to keep strict,
A
as in,
lack of proper guidance.
guidance, going out, not eating the right food, partying a little bit, doing this. Now you got to make some sacrifices, unfortunately, at that level, and I don't think he's made those sacrifices. And if you don't, like I said a couple of shows ago, you can have all the talents in the world. If you don't have the fitness or the other stuff like that, if you're not disciplined to do all the other things, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna stay at that mid-level. Basically, you're just not going up to the next step. And unfortunately, that's what it's looking like it's gonna be. I don't see him succeeding, to be honest. If he is, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a lot more, and I don't know if that'll be at Chelsea, to be honest.
Dante, what's your view? The question on the screen, help me answer that so we can scroll to the very bottom, go talk about the game and call it a day.
Trofeo from Bournemouth for Cucurella. Yeah, he's a good player, but again, I wouldn't sign him. No, I wouldn't go for that type of player. No, I let him stay there and go to Europe with Bournemouth. And yeah, no, I wouldn't probably go for him. No, if you're gonna sell Cucurella, like I said, you're gonna sell him. You're gonna get pretty good money for him. If you want to replace him, you're gonna replace him with someone close to his level, someone that's a top signing. Basically, you're not going to just add someone, a young kid or someone that's not to that level, to be honest, because you'll have the money to do it. So you kind of have to do it if you're going to sell him.
Yeah. All right. Jay says, I don't know what you've seen in Boniface. He hasn't done anything of that level. You're not paying attention to this point, at least. Yeah. Well, at one point, did Didier Drogba start doing anything? If we're going by that logic, and hence never linked with any big club. Personally, I don't want both. Fair enough, but you don't know Boniface. I think some talents don't emerge onto the scene, the big stage early in their career, but late in their career. And at 25, not late for him. I think he's 25 now. Yeah, not late
Yeah.
for him. What about Omar Mamouche at City? I don't think they're looking to sell. I am crazy. He says, based on what we're saying, basically keep Jackson because he ticks most of those boxes, in my opinion. Boniface in injury history, too scary. Yeah, and I did mention that concerns injury record. Yeah, so
we didn't say
Jackson,
to
a
sign
good
him.
fit. Sorry?
We weren't talking about actually signing him. We were just trying to make a comparison with.
With him and with Osimhen, yeah. If we're gonna
Yeah.
go for Osimhen, I'd rather him. We're not looking to sign him, but yeah, Jackson a good fit for Alonso's approach. Very versatile, can drift to the right, left, central, drop deep, track back effectively. Jackson is actually perfect Alonso player,
He is,
and
yeah.
can get better under Alonso, much better. And you could argue he's established himself. You can at Chelsea. I don't think he would. He doesn't need integration period again, except adapting to the manager's approach. We could, we could see Jackson stay. It's a possibility.
Well,
I
it
don't
just
know
depends.
if
Just
the
depends
manager
how.
wants him, right?
No, I don't think. I think it's how much of that bridge he burnt down. To be honest, it doesn't matter if the manager wants him or not. If he
What
burned
if
that
he
bridge
wasn't
down
the
all the
one that
way,
burned the bridge? What you could say? What if he was Maresca that lit the fire?
it doesn't matter who lit the fire. If he burnt the bridge down after, it still doesn't matter because the club then got involved and wanted him back, and then he completely burnt the bridge down for that to happen, and all those things he and his agent said. So that's what I mean. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe they'll come to an understanding. But like I said, if they did burn that bridge down, well, this doesn't matter if Alonso wants him or not. They're gonna sell him.
Right, interesting. Yeah, all right. Question here. Question. All these talk about Enzo and Madrid. Enzo doesn't seem like a Mourinho type of player. I think that's just an assumption. One thing you don't pay attention to is Enzo runs a lot. He's run the most. Go check that. He can be physical. Enzo isn't lightweight, as a lot of people make it out to be. If Enzo drops to the deck, it's because he wants to draw a foul, like the typical South American would. We've talked about that before. People, you could say, accuse him of not being physical enough. He is. He might not be the best aerially, but you can muscle him off the ball. And gives 150% whenever he's on the pitch. I think that sort of player actually, I nearly said the opposite, but yeah, Dante called me back, and I think it makes sense. Mourinho will like him. He's a winner. More importantly, for Mourinho, Enzo
Got the
Fernandez
attitude.
is a winner. Doesn't like to lose. Mourinho
Got the right
had
attitude. Yeah.
Fabregas. Fabregas, in terms of physicality, don't come close to Enzo Fernandez.
Jorginho, not even close.
Yeah, Jorginho not even close, but Mourinho didn't get. Let's know. But we're saying that the player that played under Mourinho.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I know what you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah.
So it's the most important thing for Mourinho is that winning mentality, that never die attitude, that always wanting to win. That's okay. The opponent is my enemy attitude. That's something Mourinho values a lot. Not necessarily, and plus that he's not lightweight like a lot of people make it out to be. All right. Oh no, actually, yeah. The guy couldn't do it at Southampton. What players do they have at Southampton? That's one thing you have to check. I think he's been one unlucky guy, in my opinion.
He's older now too. He's 33
Yeah, and
years
he's
old,
older now too.
34. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Chelsea been. Yeah, let's see. Let's bring a striker who's never fit. That's the concern, and I did mention that as a concern. His injury is, you could say, his biggest. You could say the biggest hindrance for him because he's capable of playing at any level. He's that good.
I think he's another one of those professionalism comes in a bit with his weight and his professionalism. I did see an article where he joined because he joined the other what are they called? What's the team called? And he got suspended for it as well.
Boniface.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just to his weight and his off-field, his professionalism. So I think he might be one of those as well that can, take it a bit easy, maybe a bit lazy sometimes, and doesn't look after himself as he should.
All right, I do agree with you. Trifecta says, but James reduced his base salary to 200 to fit into the salary structure with significant incentive and and others to drive it high. Yeah, it makes sense. James is James. That's why that maybe leads to my response to Yakan, where I said it depends on what my son wants. So
And like I
James,
said,
yeah.
who the other player is and what the other player has done and what position he plays is very important as well.
Did Jackson really say that?
He never said that. No, he never said that.
All right. I just hope that at least they get option B, C for Javi if they cannot manage A. I think they'll probably get A in most cases. And Javi isn't the type to actually look at big names. He looks at the unknown, you could say, quality.
Profile.
Yeah, profile more importantly over you could say popularity or name, which was what he did at Leverkusen. He looked at the what the person brings to the table, the quality, not name, and he shocked Bayern and Dortmund and all the teams in the Bundesliga. So for him, not necessarily. I don't think we'd see big names. Probably gonna see talent. He's like Pep in most cases. I get it. Pep sometimes splashes the money on big names, but sometimes you see him sign players for cheap. Players that other clubs aren't looking at them when they come in. The way they start performing, it be plug and play, and the other clubs will go, why didn't we sign? Look at that play for the amount that City signed them for. So Alonso isn't that type to start. Don't expect him to be looking at some of the biggest names. So Dante, let's get to speaking about the game. What do you make of that performance? From start to finish, they outplayed us, in my opinion. But I'm going to look at the first half numbers and the second half numbers. Where do I usually find that here? Let me see. I need to see its statistics first half and second half. But I knew it
Yeah,
was going to
well,
be a tight one. Juju predicted a draw. I knew it was going to break either way. Go ahead.
yeah, well, watching that start and then the first half, even up to the end of the first half, it just looked like those players really were not giving much effort. You can see the Bournemouth players running around them and past them and are all around. It's almost like
Yeah.
they went out there just to be there. They weren't really interested in winning that game, that first half especially, and that start, the first 15, 20 minutes. I think that was probably one of the
I mean,
worst
we're not trying
performances.
to discredit Sunderland's performance on the day.
I'm not trying to discredit. They were very good, but we were extreme. Did you not see how there was waves of Bournemouth players running over Chelsea players, up and down, up and down? They did not turn up at all. The players, like I said, they were there. I don't think they want. I almost was looking. I'm like, if the second half was exactly the same, I was like, these players don't want to win this game. They don't want to go to Europe. The plan is not to go to Europe. Don't win this game.
It just
So
seemed as if that was the case.
it so much seemed that was the case. I've never seen them. There was one other game where we had that a spell for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the end of the game like that, but that's the end of the game. This was start. This was all the way up to the halftime, and Bournemouth, look, they wanted it more, but just they were just running around. We were just standing still and just jogging around, not even keeping possession, sort of giving it away. Just really, really, really looked like they were just, let's just get there, just probably lose, whatever. It doesn't matter, win, draw. Let's just play. And when you go with that attitude, you're not going to run much. And that's exactly what happened, in my opinion. I don't think they really cared what that result was in the end. I think they just turned up and that's it. So for me, that's what it looked like. A team like that, I know Bournemouth, you got to give them credit. They played very well, but when you see them,
Sunderland, so to speak.
sorry, Sunderland played very well, but when you see them, how they were running around past players, and players were standing around, jogging around, not really making efforts to tackle, pulling out of challenges. To me, that was like their heads already not there. They don't want to be there. So yeah, to me, that's what that first half I took out from that first half. Now the second half, a little bit better. I think obviously they got, probably the management got into them a bit at halftime, so they came out a little bit better. But still, again, they were still getting outrun. To be honest, only after we kind of scored that goal from Palmer, they decided to wake up a little bit and let's have a bit of a go. But that was it. It was very poor, in my opinion. So, to me, yeah, that was definitely on the players that game. They just didn't look like. I know people are blaming it on the system, but I'm sorry, the system. If you don't run and if you put no effort, it doesn't matter what system you play or who you play. That's exactly the outcome you're gonna get. We were lucky that game was not much worse in score as in the score line, in my opinion. But yeah, we kind of made it look a little bit better at the end, those last 15, 20 minutes. But that's it, to be honest. We were pretty horrible to me. Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
bad game, very poor.
Yeah, talk about an embarrassing performance, really. The first half, 47%, yeah, more possession, but that's not an XG for 0.45 for them. The first half, did we finish better with a better XG in the first half? But it doesn't really matter. Eye test will tell you anything you need to know. 0.78 for us. Total shots, they had 10 shots, we had 4. Shots on target, 1 for us, 3 for them. Touches in the opposition box, 16 for them, 10 for us. Big chances, 2 for us. Big chances, mix, big chance, 2 big chances in the first half. 1 yellow card, 1 for them. Total shots, okay. Then second half. So I still wouldn't call this a game of 2 halves, even though, yeah. Yep. Second half, they were even better. More possession, of course, for us, yeah, because that's our thing. 1.39 XG in the second half for them, 0.11. I think we got worse in the second half in terms of if we're going by XG. 11
Don't
shots for
forget,
them also in the second half. 4
yeah,
shots in total for us in the second half. Shots on target for them in the second half, 3, but we got better in terms of total shots, which 2, just 1 more. Touches in opposition box, 19 for them in the second half.
yeah.
5 for us in the second half. Big chances, 0 none for us. 2 for them in the second half. Big chances, they missed 2 in the second half. So they were even better in the second half.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing that we did a little bit, we started running a bit more in that last 20 minutes after the red card, but that's it. I think probably due to the red card because you kind of have to probably cover a bit more ground, so it maybe just looks that way. But those players were not there to win that game. I don't think they were, to be honest. To me, even if they were, consciously they didn't want to be there and they didn't want to play that game. And when that happens, usually that's the performance you see, and that's the stats you see as well. So,
They will,
yeah,
yeah. They'd rather not be in the Europa League and the Conference League.
no, because I think they were pretty sure that if we do win, we're going to get Conference League. So I don't think they probably wanted to do that. But so
Again, that's just an opinion.
just an opinion, just from what I saw, from what I observed, because there's no way you play like that if you want to win a game and you want to go to Europe to that obviously lesser competition. You don't play like that. There was nothing going on. Even some of those shots, and you say chances. Cole Palmer passed the ball to the keeper, and it was counted as a shot. Another one was counted as a shot, almost like a pass to the keeper. It wasn't really a shot, but it's counted as a shot on target and a shot. So we really didn't do nothing, to be honest. Yeah, so I'll give credit to Sunderland, but I think you have to look at Chelsea how they played, and there was no running at all. And yeah, so that's why I can't really, give too much to Sunderland, because the way we did it, any team would have beaten us on that day.
All right, yeah, it was Richard Hughes, my bro. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Again, we're streaming on daily basis now, and we'll start doing members only shows again very soon, like we did. The plan is in the works, but Richard, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. I wasn't able to see it in the live chat who became a member, but I've checked. And to all our members, lasting members like Ibro, my bro, and who Nipun Shama. Let me look at the names here. I think it's important that I appreciate you all. So a still member who that must be, yeah, I think that's definitely bluish. Who's from? That's definitely what's the Glen 10, yeah. Jude, a lot of people Mesa I appreciate you. And Ram Pusham now. Okay, I appreciate you. Nipun Shama, Ibro, my bro. And the members are coming back again. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the conversation. Cannot thank you guys enough for being paid members. That does go a long way. It's not a lot, but yeah, it's better than nothing. We appreciate you. It's a lot from again for the fact that it encourages us to know and also it lets us know that we're doing something that people like. So Richard Hughes, thank you so much for becoming a member, and Ibro, thank you for remaining a member. Jude, Oladipo Marcelo, and all of you, Glen 10, much appreciated. All right, let's see what else do we have here.
We need to get that number up, coach. We need some more. We need to get some more
We
members.
need some more. We need but as long as we stream on daily basis, they will come back. Yes, Godsey is a left winger, and we need to strengthen that flank. And rumors are that we're interested in signing him. Enzo is the only one in that match that wanted to win that game. He wanted European football. The rest of the players didn't. That's such a disingenuous thing to say that we lost. We're not saying we lost on papers. It just seemed that. Pay attention to the words used, especially knowing we've been battered in similar way by most of the teams in last 2-3 months. Give Sunderland their respect, and we respected them. We did mention that. Jay, why do you always like fighting? Why do you always like fighting? All right, but I've not had the time. I've not had the time to watch Santi. Unfortunately, if he's that good, I would support a move for him. Okay, whoever the manager wants. Santi, any other thing on the game before we go into something and call it a day? We've been streaming for 1 hour 47 minutes. I appreciate you for finding the time to join me.
No, it's good. It's a good time for me, so that's fine. No problem. No, not too much to say there.
You mean we can go 6 hours, no problem? Okay.
Yeah, we can go 6 hours, no problem. Let's do it.
Usually, when the transfer window hits up, I think because our activity in the market going to be, you can say during the transfer window would be crazy.
We did a 6 hour one, didn't we? Last season.
We did.
Or the season
was it during the transfer window?
Yeah, it was transfer window, but I can't remember when exactly. But I think it was 6 hours, nearly. I think we cracked 6 hours. Yeah.
We've done. I remember 4 or 5 hours. I think we've done that. Yeah, it's a possibility.
Yep, I remember once.
Yeah, God's. His first name is Nico, right? Is it Nico Gods?
Luca Gotts, Luca Gotts. I can't remember. Luca or Nico? I can't remember. No, I think it's Luca Gotts.
Nico, I think Nico
Mika.
Gods.
Mika
Gods.
Combination of both. Yeah, Mika.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the presentation window. Why are Barcelona refusing to stop talking about João Pedro? It's not going to happen. Even if he wants to leave, he hasn't even completed 2 seasons here. So Chelsea still has all the power. Why do you think this is happening? Fabrizio Romano on João Pedro to Barcelona rumors. I think it's going to be more than complicated for Barcelona, even for a crazy proposal. So Chelsea absolutely want to keep João Pedro. So for them to convince Chelsea to sell, it would mean the player, they will present a redonkulous, not even ridiculous, they'd have to present a redonkulous offer, then João Pedro would have to tell Chelsea he wants to go. But I think there are a lot of lies flying around, and there's also some truth to it. Maybe they're just testing the waters to see if it's going to
Yeah.
happen. But I've seen a particular report that has to be one of the most stupid or stupendous reports that I've ever seen. That I read something to the effect of Barcelona are waiting to see, basically suggesting whether João Pedro will be an important part of Xavi Alonso's team before deciding to make a move. That sounds like they already know it's not possible. They're just finding an excuse to say that was why we didn't pursue that. I'm not sure what's going on. Could it be his camp sponsoring that to see if he gets a better pay or so? Because even Barcelona, they don't pay better these days. They want everything on the cheap. Why is this happening? Why is this persistent? Why isn't it going away? Even after Chelsea have said we're not selling, and the fact that he hasn't completed 2 seasons at Chelsea, which means Chelsea has all the power. Why is this still happening, Dante?
Well, one reason would be that obviously Lewandowski is leaving, so they're missing a striker. They're going to need a striker. The other reason is the agents of João Pedro had this players, I think, at Barcelona as well, and yeah, the agent is linked with Barcelona as well. So if you put a few of those things together, well, then you get rumors like this going around. So is it true? We don't know. But if you look at it that way, well, then yeah, of course, they need a striker. He's one of the hottest strikers at the moment. Young strikers because he's young. He's 24, so he's young. But yeah, I think it's a lot to do with that agents meddling, talking, and news coming from that. Obviously, from insiders, etc. A bit of news that could be asking. They could be asking for him, or maybe wanting him. But that's like you said, if you it's again another one of those. He just signed the contract. He could just sign last year, got the contract, long contract. If you want to play like that, he just had the season, player of the season to just had,
Why
well,
didn't they sign him when he was still playing at the beach under suspension? I think from Brighton, and so it wasn't looking good for him at Brighton anymore because he had issues, a brawl on the training pitch. They didn't until he comes to Chelsea, proves that he's a good. Just go ahead. It's annoying, really, but go ahead.
it's annoying. But like I said, this is just media and outlets, agents, etc. talking, and it makes news, and that's what Barcelona want, and that's what these players want, to get pay rises. It's all a business, and this is how the business works. You get a pay rise, we get that, we get commercial, activity. We're in the headlines. That's what clubs like, big clubs like that, because they have people who are specifically hired to do those type of jobs and to keep them in the headlines like that. So yeah, it's all just circumstance as well. Might be a little tiny a bit of truth to it as well, of course, but it is just, for now, it's just, that's all it is, in my personal opinion. It's just a bit of the agent, like I said, linked with Barcelona, some players already, same agency, etc. So yeah, it's all just linked together. They need a striker. Lewandowski's going. They need a striker. They have to replace him. you know, he's one of the names maybe on their list from their scouts. He's probably one of the names of the 20 on there, and it makes news, of course.
Yeah, I agree. And you don't see Chelsea even listening to them, right?
No, no, they won't answer the phone call. They'll be like, "Yeah, sorry, no, we're not selling. We're not
Do
interested."
your thing in the media and leave us alone. And they'll do if there's a way they do it. Chelsea will actually sue them, right?
Correct. Yes, they can't really do or approach the player. The only way that is through his agent. So that's the only way. But they can't do anything otherwise directly to the player. So, like I said, these players, they don't talk to the club. They don't talk because you can't, especially at that level. You can't. It's the agent does
They're gonna get
everything.
into trouble.
You get into trouble. The agent gets in trouble. They get in trouble. The club can sue, and pretty much all the time the club wins because of that. So that's not going to happen. This is just simple, putting some pieces together, and let's put him, like I said, of course, João Pedro would be on their list to replace a striker, but they've probably got 10, 20 players on that list to replace. That's how big clubs work. So, yeah, that's probably it at the moment. That's all it is at the moment. Nothing more than that. Chelsea will are not even picking up the phone. They're not going to entertain it. Now, if João Pedro comes and says, I really want to go, I feel like blah, 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 I want to go, then Chelsea will speak, try to convince him, no, speak to the agent, etc., have a meeting, and then, okay, we'll speak to you, but yeah, based on the contract, based on everything, the years left, everything, we need 120 million pounds for João Pedro. Can you get anywhere near that? And they'll say no, and that's it. Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah. It's not as simple as I don't think. I think even they already know. According to they know it's not gonna. It's basically impossible.
The
Maybe
players,
they're
yeah,
setting up the stage for future. You could say
correct.
bid
Yes,
or so, or just to
planting a
get
seed
to
first.
show
Yeah,
him they
correct.
like him. So in the future, if they come
Yes,
for him, it'd be a lot easier.
yes, well said. They're planting a seed. It's just a bit of appreciation for the future. He's young, like I said, he's 24. So in 2 years' time, things can change. So they plant that seed. It's there. A bit of appreciation shows a bit of. It's a little bit of a wink. That's all it is. Simple as that. Players go through this a lot, and they stay and play for the club much longer. No problem. Top players like that, it happens pretty much every season. Absolutely every season, you're going to get clubs blinking at you like that and doing that because that's how the business works. And they're just planting a bit of a seed to show that, there's a bit of appreciation there. That's all it is. But Chelsea are not selling, and they already made it very clear they're not even interested in picking up the phone. So, yeah, to me, there's not much to it because Chelsea will not sell.
Yeah. All right. I actually liked the color combination of the New Jersey. Yeah, that sounds like a state. But why? Yeah, the whatever you say that they have to put that big, yeah, on the front of the kit. Jesus Christ, Jay, you definitely go into the H negative place. But here's the thing. I think that's actually a slick design.
Which logo?
The embedded logo on the front of the
Oh,
kit.
like a hologram kind
Yeah,
of thing.
exactly. It's not overpowering.
You can't see it. It's only on
You
certain
can't see
angles.
it. It's subtle. You'd have to
Yeah.
actually look at the kit from a certain angle to see it. It's not overpowering. It's simple. That's actually in design what we call keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
And the simpler, the better. Nothing. That kit is nice. I get it. It's usually people start hating kit on the moment one big account on X or YouTube says, "Ah, that's a crappy design." Then that's it. Their followers will take it and run with it. But I think it's a good design, and I think people will start changing their mind the moment players start wearing it onto the pitch. I like it really. I'm not gonna complain about it. Dante, would you take El Hadji Malik Diop at Chelsea, Senegal international left back plus African winner with Senegal?
Yeah, he's relegated now, isn't he?
With what team?
West Ham.
All right. Hope Brazil World Cup exclusion doesn't affect João Pedro much as he comes back stronger. I think it affected him, which was why he didn't play the game after. Forget what they told us that he's not fully fit. He wasn't fully fit or something to that effect. Is it feasible that Chelsea can sign Julian Alvarez of Atletico Madrid and maybe Igor Thiago, to add to Pedro and Emer up front? That's three of them. You
No,
gotta
that's too
pay
many.
attention. You don't want to create a dressing room issue by having three top level strikers that would want to be starting every game. But usually you mix it up a bit, one slightly better than the other, and the other one capable of competing or coming in doing an equally good job or maybe an even better job. There are certain names you can have which would mean if you have the three of them, you're creating a problem. And you can say the fact that we already have, let's say, João Pedro here could lead to Igor Thiago not wanting to come. You get my argument, Dante?
Yeah, he if he does want to, well, he's got your, he's going to have European football as well, so he's going to get a pay rise as well because of that. So, uh, yeah, if he does come, he want a big, massive pay rise, and it will be a big fee, but also he would want to guarantee that he's the starter. Simple as that.
Exactly. So some you can say some players usually don't want that conflict. They wouldn't want to come because of that because they say you already have that guy and he's doing well. I don't want to come. You can say he would want to go to a place where he'd be the main guy. Um, it's my internet not working. Coach was paused reading. That you understand what he's doing there. He wants me to read everything he wrote, and I
Of
skipped
course he
some.
does.
Yeah, I blipped some out. I'm not going to hell because of you. All right, we've talked about João Pedro, and here this is Vince's opinion on what. Let's move on from that. Did they fire him? Breaking news: Massimiliano Allegri is close to being sacked as Milan coach per Matt Maretto. I think it's a big mistake. They didn't have the squad. You can say uh, he's. Remember his Juventus squad. That AC Milan squad is nothing like that, Dante.
No, it's not quite. They've been trying to sign. They've signed a lot of players, and they've signed some good players, but
But
just
not
haven't
the
got.
profile of players that you could say that plays in that will actually help him do well as a manager, given the way he likes to play.
Yeah, just the balance. Just need to get the balance right. They're a bit in transition, so they just need to get that balance right. But yeah, what did they finish? They finished fifth. Yeah, Juventus did miss out on Europe, sixth. Yeah, so they did. They missed out on Europe completely. Juventus, and then Milan finished fifth, which I think is Conference League. I can't remember. So yeah, didn't go their way, but hey, they're going through a bit of transition. Teams do go through transition.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything any more interesting stuff. Yeah, everything we're looking at commentaries from club owners, former footballers, and yeah, this is former Everton chief executive Kate. Is it Kate Wines? Says whereas Liam Rosinho was probably too compliant, I don't think Xavi Alonso will be. Alonso will want to do things and set his stamp on it from day one. You may see a new invigorated Chelsea, and there will be a belief that this is a manager that finally understands them. Okay, is a player's player and is a player's player and will be able to read players much better and get this big collection of talents that they've got finally sparkling or sparking. Okay, there's hope for Chelsea next season to really be competing at the top level. Yep, that's a sensible take there. Yep, with a good manager, a few decisive signings in the summer, we will be there. Now, to anything else before we call it a day? There aren't too much out there to talk about. These are all old news 2 hours ago. This also how many hours ago? 2 hours ago. Gennaro, how you pronounce that? Gattuso set to become the new Lazio manager to replace Mauricio Sarri. Sarri was he fired or did he quit?
I don't know, but it's
Oh,
it's the same thing in every season in Italy. It's a merry-go-round of the same managers. They just swap clubs. It's every
yeah.
season, like literally, they go from club to club. It's all the same managers. They hardly get any managers, international managers in. It's all the same Italian managers just going round and round to club. It's like, well, yeah, it's crazy how they do it there. It's just, that they don't get many international managers in. They like to stick to their Italian managers.
I think Conte will be aiming to get the Juventus job again.
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's in that man's mind? you know, who knows
Yeah.
where he's going? You never know. He might just go to, he might go international. He might go to Saudi and just get paid a lot of money. You don't know what can happen. There's a lot of options for a manager like that at the moment.
Yeah. Morgan Gibbs White wouldn't be a bad signing at all, I would say. Yeah. What else do we have? Anything else, guys? I think that's it. We've pretty much covered everything. The rest is just more like commentaries, players
What do
speaking
you
about
think?
the
What?
new
Sorry, Coach.
manager.
What do you think? I just saw a bit of conversation on it and people talking about it. Got a bit drawn into it as well. Uh, with Xabi Alonso coming in, obviously captainship. What do you think about Reece James
Without
as captain?
Enzo Fernandez,
You would choose Enzo Fernandez as the captain?
no, I said without Enzo Fernandez, right? Let's assume
Well,
he's
we
leaving.
can't say that. He's still here, so with Enzo Fernandez,
It's still him. He still deserves it. I think he leads well from what we've seen.
still
Caicedo
Reece
doesn't
James.
seem like the most vocal leader. Whether he's vocal in the dressing room, I don't know. But even on the pitch, when he has the armband on, I don't think at this point he has a good grasp with regards to what it takes to lead. Yeah, as being the captain, I don't think he has it. But Enzo Fernandez has it. The way he speaks to his teammates, his efforts on the pitch, he's not. It comes naturally to him. Quite
It
Caicedo
does.
not quite. So I'd still keep Enzo Fernandez. Maybe Levi Colwell, but I need to see more.
Yeah, I just saw a lot of discussion about it, especially in that Sunderland game where obviously Reece James came on, got the captain arm, and he wasn't really doing anything to get the players up or get involved or nothing. That's unfortunately this is Reece James. That's just who he is. He's a bit, that's just his,
Now I would choose. I think I think a bit of politics there. That he's the captain.
I think so. I think that my personal opinion, I think that is something that needs to change for next season, to be honest. One, because of what I've mentioned, he's just his demeanor and just the way, you don't see him, talking to the rest much, getting angry, going in, doing captain like things. Off the field, we can't talk too much, but we know it was a problem under Maresca. We know it was a problem, and he challenged him quite a bit, and apparently he improved, and then he kept the captaincy. But again, seeing him the last 10 games as a captain, again, it looked like he kind of went back to his quiet sort of ways and not really, getting
Yeah,
involved.
he's hibernated.
Yeah, so I think that is personally, I think that is a change to be made, should be made, and I think it might actually free him up as well a little bit, like no pressure, no media responsibilities. Because as a captain, you got to do a lot of media and commercial stuff and off-field stuff as well. So that would free him from that as well. So I think maybe that might take a bit of pressure off him and just give it to someone else, someone who actually like a captain. Even though I would love Reece James to be that because he's obviously Chelsea, Cobham, been there a long time. He loves the club. Obviously, he's there. His sister, his whole family. But I just don't see him leading as a captain should. And again, these last 10 games, when you again looking at it when it was difficult, I think he kind of let down for me again. I don't think he showed that captain material again when it was needed probably the most.
Yeah, I do agree. Um, let's see what happens. He might still keep it. Actually, the fact that he's agreed to stay, even though he didn't get a lot of, you say, no, he didn't get like a crazy pay rise and all that. I think probably politics will be one of the reasons why he still keep it.
Well, it would be only reason really, but like I said, just an opinion. But I saw a lot of people talking about it, especially after that Sunderland game, that he just wasn't doing what a captain should be doing. And yeah, I have to agree, unfortunately. And what was surprising that it was a lot of the English fans saying that, and normally I don't see that. This time it was all the English fans saying that, the proper Chelsea ones. So yeah, that was a bit surprising that they kind of turning on that on him a little bit because of that. Um, but hey, it's I think it's a bit obvious at the moment that he's not that guy to really galvanize a team, or he is sometimes, like we saw that in the Club World Cup when he did it with Enzo. But again, Enzo was the one, in that the main one in that as well. So yeah, I think Xabi Alonso will need to have a look at that pretty closely next season and maybe make a big decision there. But I think that would the politics that would really, really.
I think he's gonna keep it.
He's got. He probably has to. I think. Yeah.
I think he keep it. But one thing we don't know is how vocal he is in the dressing room.
You can tell he's not. I mean, you can just tell he's not. He's done interviews. You watched the training one. He's just not that type of guy. He's more of an introverted. He's not that type of guy. He's just his demeanor, his attitude, and most importantly, on the field as well. You don't see it. You just don't see it at all, hardly on the field.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Anything else before we call it there? Nothing new out there.
All good. Just wanted to add that in there. Anyone has a view on that, but
Totally understand. And with that, we've come to the natural end of this particular edition of the Blue Morning Show. I do hope you're all doing well once again. And I want to say thank you to MB05 for joining. Thank you for Jay for joining. Ibro, my bro. Thank you for joining. Jabalani Jumalo. Thank you for joining. And Richard Hughes, thank you for becoming a member. Jay, much appreciated. Ty stopped by to say hello. And Khan, much love to you. I appreciate you. And of course, on the panel with me, the captain of the community in Constantine Dante. And if I miss your name, apologies. See you guys next time. God bless us all. And cheers.
cheers, guys. Take care.
From the bridge to the stand, I carry that crest in my hand. Rain on my shoulders, still I stand. Tell me who wears it like we can. Mud on the boots, heart of gold. Those stories living in the cold. Every name that the walls still hold. I was born for this, I was told. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. When the pressure comes down hard, we don't flinch, we play our part. Every scar on the badge says more than 1,000 songs before. From the first whistle to the last, we remember where we came from fast. No throne, no crown, no borrowed fame, just a city calling out that name. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. Let the whole ground shake, let the whole world know. We don't chase a moment, we are the home. Hands up high, the bridge to the stand, I carry that crest in my hand. Rain on my shoulders, still I stand. Tell me who wears it like we can. Mud on the boots, heart of gold. Those stories living in the cold. Every name that the walls still hold. I was born for this, I was told. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end, blue till the end. We rise again, we rise again. Blue till the end, blue till the end. This is our name, this is our skin. When the pressure comes down hard, we don't flinch, we play our part. Every scar on the back says more than 1,000 songs before. From the first whistle to the last, we remember where we came from fast. No throne, no crown, no borrowed fame, just a city calling out that name. Hear that roll in the air, feel that fire everywhere. We don't bend, we don't fold. We were cut from that blue gold. Blue till the end.